Hello, this is Dr. Daniel Van Ingen. Welcome to the Dr. Van Ingen Clinical Psychology and Parenting Show. Today I want to talk about social media, and that's something that we've talked about quite often. Let me read you this new study by Psychology of Popular Media Culture. Teens today spend more time online and less time reading books, magazines, and newspapers. So listen to the actual data. Researchers analyzed data from the Monitoring the Future study, and it surveyed approximately 50,000 8th, 10th, and 12th graders in the United States annually since 1976. In the late 1970s, 60% of 12th graders said they read a book or magazine almost every day. By 2016, only 16% did. So think about that. 60% of 12th graders said they read a book or a magazine daily. But by 2016, only 16% did. And in 2016, approximately 1/3 of 12th graders had not read any book, including an ebook for pleasure at all in the past year. So, and of course, 12th graders in 2016 spent hours a day. And nowadays, 2018, they're spending many hours a day, 9.5 hours of personal media use per day, texting several hours a day, 9.5 total hours on personal media use. That's social media, and that's TV, Hulu, Netflix, YouTube. So think about the reading from 1976 to 2016. In 60% of 12th graders were reading a book or a magazine daily. Now, in 2016, 1/3 of 12th graders have not read any book over the past year. So, what a change. And 2016 was about the fourth year, 4 years into this majority of 12th graders having their own personal smartphone. So, which started around 2012. Last year was the 10th year anniversary of the smartphone. So now what's been happening now? 5 full years of teenagers having their own smartphone. Well, we've seen the data. So I just read to you now the majority of 12th graders are not reading at all in the past year. They're also delaying getting a driver's license when they're age 16. They're just pushing it off. They're also delaying getting a job. And they are having less time with friends. So in the past, it was daily friendship time. Now, once every 2-3 days. So significantly less time with friends because of the smartphone. So one positive is that there's less teen pregnancies. It's because kids are not going out. Teens are not going out. On Friday nights, they're home alone. So I sort of have this image in my mind. The images from the 60s and 70s, the kids smoking in front of a roller rink, right? And then the picture of the 90s, early 2000s teenagers, the picture that represents that culture, that time, is teens walking around the mall, right? Mall walking. Now, the picture that represents this current generation of teenagers is they're home alone and they're on their phone. So I want to recommend social media recommendations. And I'm going to make this recommendation that social media start when the child is age 18. So think about that. But now what you have is the majority are into social media and they're starting early. I definitely recommend cell phones. But more and more what's happening is parents are realizing and they're going to dumb phones. And then they have set schedules for their preteens and teens, allowing them to text and make phone calls and text, but at set scheduled times. So this is my second recommendation. First, delay social media. If you can, by age 18. Um, but we know that that's not realistic for the majority. But delaying social media and starting out with dumb phones that just focus on calling and texting. My second recommendation today is um, really encouraging scheduled times. So instead of think about you have if you've been in meetings and someone's phone goes off, it beeps, it buzzes, it goes off, they get a message, they immediately you may be engaged in this conversation, they immediately look at their phone. They immediately look at their phone, and it's like um, it's so rude. It's so impolite. Manners have gone out the window. What happens? It's the stimulus response. And so immediately they get triggered and they're staring at their phone. And so what happens is it becomes this enormous distraction. Distractibility has gone up. People have become impulsive and distracted. And so we're dealing with optimal distractibility. What we want to do is promote um, freedom from distractibility. And so, what I recommend when you're working with, if you have kids in middle school, have them get a dumb phone, focus on texting, delay social media. So when I say social media, I'm talking about Snapchat, Instagram, um, Kick Messenger, um, Facebook, which is still the majority of teens still have Facebook, but the emphasis is on Snapchat and Instagram. But delay social media. And number two, set texting, put limits on texting. So they schedule it in. So if they're all ready for school, they have 5 minutes, 6:55 to 7 o'clock or 7:55 to 8 o'clock. And then after school, after they do their homework or their activity, they have 5 minutes from 4:55 to 5 o'clock. And then work with them, encourage their scheduling, and then encourage personal responsibility with some accountability in adhering to that set schedule. And so if they need a third 5 minute increment, and that's when they text. So a lot of people are so used to, oh, there's a text, I better text immediately. Pretty soon, all of the kids' friends are running your son or daughter's life. So when they see stimulus response, they immediately feel like they need to send a text message. No, that they don't need to send a message. And so to empower your child, encourage personal responsibility with scheduling, and they stick to that schedule, and they don't have to text immediately after they receive a text. And again, delay social media. Emphasize the quality of relationships. This is Dr. Daniel Van Ingen with the Dr. Van Ingen Clinical Psychology and Parenting Show and some additional social media recommendations.